Good afternoon and welcome to our College Week Live admissions presentation for Winthrop University. My name is Brittany Pierce. We'll be joined in just a little bit by my admissions counselor assistant, Michelle Phillips, who will tell you a little bit of the student perspective, but I do want to talk to you just for a few minutes about the admissions process here at Winthrop University. So we are going to jump right into this. Welcome to our webcast. Not quite Winthrop University's campus today, but the webcast will be a pretty good substitute. First off, the things you might want to know about Winthrop, the things you may already know from searching us on College Board, searching us on sites like College Week Live, are that we are a four-year comprehensive public university located in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We have about 6,200 students total. That includes our undergraduate population of a little over 5,000, as well as our 1,200 graduate students here on campus. We represent a good number of states and countries, a pretty diverse student population. We're talking about students coming from all over the country, all over the world, all sorts of backgrounds, all sorts of educational environments. We also are accredited by the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, which is a pretty important thing to keep in mind. It basically means that people sit around a boardroom and they talk about who can grant degrees, and they've said, okay, we're going to let Winthrop grant degrees. So that's definitely an important part of our educational environment, but something we're not going to talk too much about. We are located in Rock Hill, South Carolina, like I mentioned. Rock Hill is a good small city located about 20-30 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina. Rock Hill has about 66,000 residents, so it is, like I said, a good sized city. For me, it has all the important things like a Target and a Starbucks and a Panera. Some other students enjoy the outdoor activities, the cultural activities, as well as plenty of shopping and part-time jobs, internship opportunities, those things that are important to college students. I did mention we are about 20 to 30 minutes south of Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte is the 17th largest city in the country. It's also one of the fastest growing. So it's a great place to be far away, not really far away, but a little bit removed from the hustle and bustle of traffic and crime that comes along with the big city, but still close enough to enjoy things like the Mint Museum, which is the art museum, or going to Bobcats games, who are actually in the playoffs this year, as well as shopping and additional internship and job opportunities. Our campus is a walking campus. Most students, when they come to visit campus, are going to walk around main campus. It's about 100 acres. It has all of the academic buildings, all of the residence halls, the student union, anything and everything a student might need on a day-to-day basis is going to be found on our 100-acre main campus. I did mention we are a walking campus. We are also a residential campus, which we'll touch on in just a few minutes. But the walking campus is very beneficial for our students to get to and from, back and forth. It's very easy to get corner to corner of campus in about 15 minutes by foot. That being said, we do have a whole another side of campus, our 325-acre athletics facilities. That's where all of our Division I athletics teams play and practice. It's also where we have a lake, we have a golf course, we have a World Championship disc golf course, and plenty of other things to do from an outdoor and recreational standpoint. I did mention we are a residential campus. All of our first and second year students, with a couple exceptions, are required to live on campus in one of our many residence halls. There are a handful of different types of residence halls to live in. We have everything from those traditional ones with the floor bathrooms to suite style to apartment style. But as a first and second year student, you are expected to live on campus unless you're living within a 50-mile radius with a parent or guardian, unless you're a post-traditional student, or if you're a transfer student. So those are the three big exceptions that we typically will talk about. We do have different academic success communities that all of our students will live in. Now, some students will choose to live in a certain building because of the academic success community. Some will live in a building and happen to be in the academic success community. So it really depends on the student and what they're looking for. Some of the most popular academic success communities are things like the Emerging Leaders floor, which is where our students that are interested in cultivating leadership early on. They will live there in a community, as well as our honor students. That tends to be another very popular and active academic success community on campus. Outside of living on campus and getting involved in your residence hall association or in your academic success community, we do have over 160 other clubs and organizations on campus to get involved in. We have everything ranging from intramural and club sports to campus ministries to academic societies to service organizations and everything in between. So chances are, if there's something you're interested in, we're going to have an opportunity for you to get involved with other students of a similar interest. We do also have study abroad programs. Those, a lot of times students think, well, how are you getting involved on campus if you're going off campus? Well, not only do we have your traditional semester-long study abroad opportunities out of the country. We also have study abroad opportunities where they're done in conjunction with a course. So this, for example, this fall is Literature of the Holocaust. Those students are going to take the semester-long course. The last 2 weeks coincide with winter break, and those students in turn are going to go over to Europe and see some of the sites that they have been reading about and learning about throughout the entire fall semester. So keep that in mind when you think about study abroad opportunities and ways to get involved. In addition to that, we have volunteer and community service organizations. Like I mentioned, most of our organizations are going to do some sort of community service or volunteer work, as well as we do have social Greek life, so fraternities and sororities across all 3 national organizations. I did mention a few minutes ago we are NCAA Division I, so athletics does play a pretty big role in the activities our students are doing outside of the classroom, in part because our students are admitted to all of our athletic events free of charge. That is included in, I guess, your tuition and fees. Academics tend to be a pretty popular reason to come to college, so we do like to talk a little bit about academics right here. We have over 100 different programs of study across our 42 undergraduate degree program, or undergraduate majors rather. If you look at our most popular majors, you see those right there on the screen. You see they span across all 4 colleges, or all 4 degree granting colleges within the university. So business administration, biology, psychology, the fine arts, those are BFA programs and things like ceramics or painting, as well as early childhood education. Just to tack on to early childhood education, we also do have the McFeet Laboratory School, where those students will get some hands-on experience working with young children. It's the second oldest lab school in the country. So I do like to throw that little bit of info out there for you. Our class size tends to be smaller than what students coming from a public high school are used to. The average class size is 24, and so those students that are coming from local, not only local high schools here across South Carolina, but also from up and down the East Coast, out west, they're typically going to be in a smaller classroom than what they just left a couple months ago, having graduated high school. We do also have a very low student to teacher ratio, and so you're going to know, especially when it comes time to be advised, that your advisor is going to know your name and know what your situation is and know where you are in the process. Of our approximately 300 full-time faculty, over 80% of those have terminal degrees, and so you're going to be getting instruction from faculty that have put in the work to get that PhD, get that EDD, and have a doctor before their name. Another thing that's not on this slide, but that is definitely worth noting, is that all of our classes, our lecture courses rather, are in fact taught by professors. You don't have GAs and TAs that are responsible for the primary instructional component of your courses. Our average freshman is coming in with a 3.8 weighted GPA. That is on the South Carolina Uniform Grading Scale. If you're looking at us watching this webcast from somewhere outside of South Carolina, keep in mind that 3.8 is going to be an AB average typically throughout your high school career. We do have students that are taking college prep courses, absolutely. They're also taking things like honors courses. They're taking AP courses when available. They're taking a challenging course load and getting those good A's and B's on their transcript. The average SAT score is about a 1050 as well. That's on the 2-part. That's the critical reading and the math. That correlates to about a 24 on the ACT, or 23 on the ACT rather. So you can see, by and large, our students are coming in having challenged themselves in high school and on the standardized test and doing well on both of those. About half of our students are in the top 20% of their class as well. The freshman admissions process is really, really simple and straightforward. We are enrolling admissions, meaning that as you submit all of your information, submit your credentials, we are granting decisions on a rolling basis, typically starting in about October. We do require, like I said, the high school transcript as well as the test scores. Anything in addition to that, things like recommendations, things like essays, resumes, those are all supplemental and optional in the truest sense of the word. We're going to read them, we're going to think how wonderful you are, we're going to love to get to know you a little bit better, but do know that those are not going to be the primary component of an admissions decision for you. The transfer admissions process is also fairly straightforward and simple. Depending on the number of hours that you have taken at a local community college or wherever you are currently, that's going to dictate what all we need from you. Since it is rolling, we are going to grant those decisions just like with first year admission as we receive all your information. Your credentials for that do include not only the application, but we're also going to need all of the transcripts from your institutions of higher education, as well as in some instances we may ask for your high school information. Typically that's going to come into play when you've attempted 12 semester hours or fewer. 13 or more, we're going to ask for less of that high school stuff. If we ask for it, it may just be for our records. We do also publish our requirements for transfer admission. We do require that you have a 2.0 cumulative GPA, as well as a 2.0 GPA for the last semester that you attended at your current or last institution. Merit-based scholarships, so that's a fancy way of saying academic scholarships. Those are awarded upon admission. The priority deadline for that is March 1st. We do ask that you apply at that March 1st date or earlier. The criteria for that is a 3.5 cumulative weighted GPA, as well as an 1100 on the two-part SAT or a 24 on the ACT. We're going to take whatever the higher test score is for you, and we'll kind of push to the side those that maybe aren't quite so high. We do super score the SAT, that's one thing to keep in mind. The ACT, we only take the composite though, but we are going to take the highest composite. We do also offer merit-based scholarships for transfer students. Those are awarded upon receipt of final transcript. We do ask though that for transfer students you have not only a 3.0 cumulative weighted GPA, but we also want you to have 30 hours of college credit coming in with you. And talent-based scholarships. That's another big component of the scholarship offerings. Talent-based scholarships are things like dance scholarships, athletic scholarships, departmental scholarships even I would clump in with talent-based awards. While I would love to be able to grant all of those talent-based awards, they don't give me that power. And so I can, in fact, put you in contact with the appropriate office, or our office, your admissions counselor, can put you in contact with the appropriate office, but we're not actually going to be the ones to distribute those funds. And last but not least, from the financial aid standpoint, is let's talk about the free application for federal student aid real quick. The FAFSA, as it is typically called, the priority deadline for that is March 1st. While that is a priority deadline, and we do ask that you have submitted it prior to that date, it is not a hard deadline. If you are perhaps a senior in high school right now and are listening to this webcast or talking to any of your friends, if they haven't submitted the FAFSA, there still is time to do that. We do ask, though, that if you think you are eligible for any sort of need-based aid, so things like SEOG grants, Pell grants, go ahead and do it always sooner rather than later, because sometimes there are funds that when they dry up, they dry up. And the earlier you file, the more likely you are to get those things. And that brings us to the last slide of this presentation before I turn you guys over to our current student, Michelle. How are some different ways to visit campus? This webcast is great. You're going to learn a good amount of stuff here at College Week Live, but we do definitely want to provide you an opportunity to see all of our facilities and to maybe meet with us person to person, face to face. The four big ways that we'll talk about real quick to visit campus: a weekday visit. We do offer weekday visits Monday through Friday, twice a day. We offer them at 9:30 a.m. and at 2 p.m. That's going to offer you an opportunity to not only sit in on a presentation, but also to tour campus and to do any sort of additional things on campus you'd want to do. Maybe it's meet with somebody from the honors program or to sit in on a class, anything like that. We also offer a preview day. Those are on Saturdays. We typically do 4 of those a year. First Look Fridays are on Fridays. We typically do 4 of those a year as well. And then Transfer Tuesdays are, you guessed it, on Tuesdays, geared towards transfer students. And those, depending on the time of year, we'll do anywhere from 6 to 8 of those throughout the year. But those dates are all published on our website, winthrop.edu/admissions/visit. We'll put you right to that site, and we can get you set up to do anything and everything you'd want to do here on Winthrop's campus. There is a box also in your screen right now to ask any sort of questions. If you guys have any, please feel free to ask them. You can ask them to me, or I am going to turn you over to Michelle to talk a little bit about how she came to Winthrop. You can also ask her those questions as well. So let me grab her, and then we'll turn you guys over.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle. I am a junior here at Winthrop, and I'm studying integrated marketing communications, which I can tell you a little about later on. But first, I want to tell you about how I got here. I was a senior in high school, and I was leaning 2 different ways. I was deciding between going to school for forensic science or for graphic design. I chose design, and someone just mentioned Winthrop to me. They said that they had looked into it for a similar program, so I looked them up and I decided to come for a visit. And the second that I stepped on campus, I felt right at home. I decided almost the second my feet touched the pavement that I was coming to Winthrop University. And as I went through my day and I started talking to people from the department and just people around campus, all the faculty and staff and current students, I knew I was coming here. We had the best graphic design program in the Southeast, and if I'm going to be paying thousands of dollars for an education, why not go for the best? The faculty was out of this world, super knowledgeable, knew anything and everything that you could possibly need to know about the program and helping students. The current students that I interacted with were so helpful and so nice. I just noticed right away how much of a community Winthrop was and how people really cared about each other. And I didn't feel like because I was an incoming freshman, I was like ostracized or made fun of because I was low on the totem pole. It's not like that here, which I thought was super important. But now, as I said, I'm an integrated marketing communications major, which I chose in the long run because it is much more broad, which I thought was important. Just to me, it's less competitive and I can do more with it. It's half mass communication classes and half business classes. And I'm currently, since I'm getting up there in my college experience, I'm currently looking for an internship. Most of the majors on campus do require that you fulfill an internship at some point during your college experience. There's different levels. Some are just, you have to take it as a class. So you'll sign up for a 1 credit hour internship class, 2, 3, I think even up to 6 credit hour for your internship. Yeah. Does anyone, pardon?
What's your favorite part?
Oh my gosh, my favorite part of Winthrop? I still fall in love with how community-based it is. I love that when I'm walking down, we have a large walkway through campus. It's a brick walkway where most people hang out. It's called Scholars Walk. I love that when I walk down that walkway, everyone is smiling. People are talking to each other. There's swings. It's always busy. It's like the campus melting pot. There's always people there. It's just it fills my heart with joy how much of a community. People are always talking. You can meet someone new every day. I'm, of course, up in my major. I have classes with a lot of same people, but I always have classes with new people. And we do group projects, and I just love getting to know everyone. And I love how helpful and how driven everyone is here. Any questions? Anybody? All right, well, I'm going to throw you back to Brittany, and if you have any questions for either of us, you just send them on down. We'll get them answered for you.
All right, thank you so very much, Michelle. Like I said, she is my admissions counselor assistant. Just to give you a heads up as you are contemplating applying for admission, maybe you already have, just to know what to expect once you've already applied. You do have an admissions counselor. If you're from North Carolina up to Delaware and a handful of other states, that's going to be me. My name is Brittany again. We do have a good handful of other counselors, though, that work with students from different parts of the country and different parts of South Carolina. Each individual admissions counselor also has an admissions counselor assistant who you just met here via webcam. Mine is Michelle. You're going to get a lot of good information, not only from us as admissions counselors, but you're also going to get good information from our admissions counselor assistants. They give you a student perspective, so don't be afraid to ask them questions, to write them emails, to leave them voicemails on our voicemails for us to pass along. Any way you want to communicate with either of us, we can definitely make happen. But we do want to give you the best information we possibly can, as well as much information as you possibly can handle as you're looking to make your college, not only application decisions, but also your admissions decisions. So we've got a couple minutes for questions if anybody has any. If you don't currently have any questions but think maybe I'm going to have some in a few minutes, or maybe you're watching this in the on-demand option on our College Week Live page, you're more than welcome to send those questions. I'll give you my email address. It is Pierce, P-E-A-R-C-E-B @winthrop.edu. You can send your questions to me, Brittany, or you can send them to our main admissions page, admissions, ADMISSIONS, @winthrop.edu. and that will get funneled to your admissions counselor. You also can look at our website, winthrop.edu/admissions, for all of the contact information for your individual counselors. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope we've gotten some decent information out of this, and we look forward to working with you over the next few months and possibly years. Have a great day.